All right. So, like I said, it's so nice to meet you. I represent a biotech company that has pioneered and now specializes in a science called nutrigenomics, or even more specifically, nutrigenomic activation. And what nutrigenomic activation is utilizing the cleanest and purest of nutritional components that are formulated in such a way that they turn on, in not supplement, they turn on. So we're activating, that's where that word activation comes from. They activate pathways in your DNA, so basically parts of your DNA that aren't working. And what's really wonderful is a lot of people don't realize that they're not destined to what their DNA dictates. And many of us think that we are, and we'll look at things that have happened in our family and our heritage, and we really kind of succumb to that mindset of, if my parents died in early death, I consider that to be my lifespan. Or if cancer, a certain kind of cancer runs in my family, or even depression, certain things, because it's in our DNA, we really think that that dictates our future. And the reality is 80% of our DNA lies dormant, which is interesting in our creation because it's fascinating and it's capable of really, really wonderful things, but it's not doing anything. And 20% of our DNA is very active. And then if we flip to that, 2% of our DNA is coded, which is basically means it's written in stone. I am 5'9". I have brown hair. I have really wide feet. There's nothing I can do about that. I whether I exercise or whether I smoke or whether I eat good or I eat terrible, there's no influencing my height really outside of aging and bone degeneration. So that leaves 98% of our DNA that's actually influenceable. And you are influencing it moderately and sometimes heavily. The choices we make every day in life influence our DNA. So again, those things like how we eat, whether we smoke, whether we exercise, all of those things and what we eat influences our DNA to some degree. And so what's really, really neat is finding ways, because if we go really, really deep into the heart of what's going on in our health and our wellness and the state of our being, the deeper we go, the more effective we are to bring about change. So I love this path because it's really helped me see in my own family, in my own life, but also now I've been doing this 8 years, being able to help people really defy the odds, because where in Western medicine, which there's a place for, so please know that in anything I say today, I'm not at all going against Western medicine. This is just something that isn't well known in Western medicine, because Western medicine tends to look at a specific disease or diagnosis, and with that, they manage it. So they'll look at whether your diagnosis. I'm going to just make sure. I think I didn't accurately make sure everybody was muted. There we go. Sometimes there's just background interference. Sorry about that. So where Western medicine will take a diagnosis or a condition and manage that through surgery or through pharmaceutical, but we tend to manage disease. And where nutrigenomics goes deeper, we are looking at what's foundational to all disease. So we're not going to say that we treat, cure, heal any disease, because we're not up here. This is kind of where Western medicine is either going to cut it out or medicate it, if I put it in simpler terms. And we fortunately found a way to go much deeper. And what I mean by that is that all disease, so any ailment or condition or any way that you might feel unwell, and that may have names to you, that may have diagnoses. Usually when we start talking about this, people have things come to their mind. The things that run in your family, or even the meds you're on, or the diagnoses that you have, or the way that you feel. So it could be anything from cancer to a skin condition to acne or eczema. It could be depression, anxiety, PTSD, bipolar, could be autism. It could be an autoimmune disease. It could be multiple sclerosis or lupus or arthritis or type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, type 3 diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia. We can list all these diagnoses and conditions. And we can even list things like, oh, you know what? I have a sensitive stomach, or I'm tired all the time. I don't sleep well. I ache everywhere. And those might not be actual diagnoses, but they are just kind of the way that we feel. But all of those things, believe it or not, have commonalities within our cells. And there are dysfunctions within our cells that show elevated levels in every single ailment and aging as we know it. So it's really interesting when you dig deep into this, because in the cell, as we age, there's like our first dysfunction that we're going to talk about is this dysfunction called oxidative stress. So oxidative stress levels raise as we age every single day in an insurmountable way. Every single day I'm on this earth, my oxidative stress levels increase radically. But if I have an wellness process in my body, if I have type 1 diabetes, if I have arthritis, if I'm injured, if I'm under more stress, or if I have clinical depression, my oxidative stress levels are also going to be very high. And so there's many of those things like oxidative stress that are dysfunctions within the cell that basically are present and supportive of disease processes and aging. And so we target those. And kind of a great analogy that we like to use to help people think this way, because it's a different mindset. And as we talk about the science of nutrigenomics, it's going to be really easy. And you should say this, I never want to negate this, because of the way we've been conditioned in our culture to not treat the whole body and to treat conditions. Inevitably, you'll be thinking, well, I wonder if it helps this. I wonder if it helps that. And you'll think of diagnoses. My dad had a disease called progressive supranuclear palsy. I wonder if it helps that. I wonder if it helps ALS. I wonder if it helps Parkinson's. And we're going to try to train ourselves to look at everything going on in our body. It's made up of cells, and we're healing every cell. And so if you think of like a four-legged table, if you're sitting at a four-legged table, that helps. Imagine the tabletop represents all of your unwellness, or all the unwellness you can think of. And all of it, you can throw everything on there. Yep, that tabletop is the arthritis. It is the metabolic dysfunction. It is the hormonal imbalance. It is the migraines, everything. Throw it on there. It doesn't matter what the name of it is. And again, where we think, how can we fix this tabletop? Can we clean it? Can we make it shiny? Maybe we need to paint it. Maybe we need to cut part of it out. And that's kind of what Western medicine does. And what we do is we look at the legs. We look at what's supporting this tabletop. And if we can knock a leg out from under it, then that tabletop can't function the way that it has. We really couldn't even call it a tabletop because it's going to tip. And then what if we can knock out 2 legs? What if we can knock out 3? What if we can knock out all of the legs supporting that tabletop? Then that disease or that tabletop has a very hard time having the same identity, the same power, the same function anymore. And that's what we are able to do to disease through nutrigenomic activation. So I'm going to give you one more analogy, and then we'll kind of jump into a little more of the nitty gritty. People are very familiar with supplementation, and it's hard to get away from that mindset that supplementation is good. Our company actually has some really great revolutionized supplements that do support overall health that are necessary. I'm not against supplementation, but our company is an activation company. We specialize in nutrigenomic activation. And what that means is we're turning on, we're activating something that's out. So I want you to think of your body like my cell phone. Like, this is my analogy. Your body is the cell phone. Right now, my cell phone is not doing anything. Has a ton of functions that it's simply not doing. I'm not on the phone. I'm not texting. I'm not on social media. I'm not engaging Wi-Fi. I'm not taking a picture. I'm not utilizing my flashlight. There's so many things this phone can do, but I'm not doing any of them right now. And so it's really easy sometimes for us to say, well, then my phone just doesn't do that because my flashlight's not on. I guess my phone doesn't have a flashlight. I guess I just wasn't meant to shine. My dad's flashlight doesn't work. My mom's flashlight doesn't work. All of my aunts and uncles' flashlights don't work. I just have to deal with the fact that my flashlight doesn't work. And the reality is I have the programming in my phone for my flashlight to work. I have a bulb right back here. I have a fully charged flashlight, but the only thing that's keeping my flashlight from functioning the way that it's programmed to is the fact that I haven't flipped the switch. I have to locate where the switch is, find out how to turn it on, and flip the switch. And what's really, really neat is that's what we do. That's exactly Nutrigenomic activation. We have just really gifted scientists whose passion is getting to the core of disease, what supports disease, and affecting what will heal exponentially every cell in the body. So what we do, we turn on the body's ability to exponentially increase its ability to heal and repair. So no matter what your tabletop is, it's like, what would that look like if we can exponentially increase your body's ability to heal and repair? It's very, very fun to find out. So how this started was on that first leg of the table, which is oxidative stress. Decades ago, probably now we're looking at about 6 decades ago, there was a team of scientists that really was looking at how can we lower oxidative stress. People are eating foods rich in antioxidants. They're taking their antioxidant supplements. Everybody hears, I need this because of its antioxidant power. But because our oxidative stress levels are so incredibly high, and I mean ridiculously high, what oxidative stress is, it's a buildup of these bad guys called free radicals. And free radicals are kind of like a rusting of the cell. They're these tiny little particles that in our cells increase every day by 300 sextillion, which is 23 zeros, every single day we're alive. So eliminating 1,000 free radicals here and 1,000 free radicals there, eating, if I ate 9 pounds of blueberries, which are high in antioxidants, I couldn't lower my oxidative stress enough to even like heal my little, like a scratch on the tip of my thumb. And so this team of scientists thought there's got to be a way. And they started out in the pharmaceutical world and just started finding that on their hunt for lowering oxidative stress radically, they found this NRF2 pathway, which is just a pathway in your DNA. If you're not activated, yours is off right now. Mine's working really hard. Barb's is working really hard. Paul's on this call and his is working really hard. But if you're not activating your NRF2, yours is dormant. It's not doing anything. They discovered this NRF2 pathway, and there's little things that sort of activate it. They kind of tickle it, like broccoli. Broccoli will scratch the surface, but not monumentally turn on this pathway. But they found their hypothesis was if we can turn on this pathway in a strong way, it will radically lower oxidative stress. And it took them stepping away from pharma because they were having more success with natural herbs and plants. And they moved their research to the University of Colorado in Denver. And after 4 decades of study, they found a synergy of herbs that turned on this NRF2 pathway so profoundly that it lowers the oxidative stress within 30 days to the level of a small child, like to a newborn. That's crazy. They did a study and 100% of the subjects in the study lowered their oxidative stress at least 40% in 30 days, 70% in 90 days. There's no other food, drug, or supplement that can do that. And 100% efficacy is very, very odd. So it would seem like a false claim to say that anything has 100% efficacy, any proprietary blend of anything. So pharmaceuticals efficacy levels are usually very, very low, not even close. You would be lucky to get a 60%. So 100% got the world's attention. The summary of the study was published in the Wall Street Journal, and different organizations all wanted to investigate on their own because it's quite unheard of. So ABC Primetime 20 years ago now, well, 19 years ago, came in and did an investigative report. And Andrew, have you seen the ABC Primetime? Did Barb send you the ABC Primetime investigative report? Okay. So I'm going to show just a 2-minute clip. It's longer, so I recommend viewing the whole thing in its entirety, but I'm going to share my screen really quick just to share with you what kind of happened. Because when ABC Primetime, if I think everyone on this call probably, this isn't judgment, but probably is old enough to remember this news magazine. And the reporter would basically go in to prove people wrong. You know, if a business was doing something shady, they would go in and say, you know, we're going to expose you. And with our claim, they should do that. They should come in and try to expose. I always tell people, we want you to research. So this is part of that ABC Primetime investigative report, which it's old, it's 19 years old, but it's still such a wonderful thing for people to see.
And see the age-related. Normally, oxidative stress measured by those T-bars increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old. They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child. Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me? But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result, my level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically. 45%, that's excellent. Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after, which if extrapolated back is the level you would see in a newborn baby. Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed. Would you suggest I keep taking the supplement? I would. And so, ancient Eastern healing and modern Western medicine may soon be working together. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses. It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks, even mental disease. Yes, depression, Alzheimer's disease, depression. And we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. And I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old to find out that I should have taken it.
So pretty powerful. Again, I recommend viewing that in its entirety. If you have a chance, it's just 12 minutes. That is very, very worth the time. I'm going to shift to my PowerPoint really quick. We'll see if my PowerPoint will respond today, if my internet is fast enough. I think what's really amazing about what that showed is that the age-related oxidative stress levels in everyone were lowered to a level where you can't tell the difference if my mother, who's 79, has her oxidative stress levels tested in her blood and I have mine. I'm 51. And my son, who's 19, and my grandson, who's 2, you wouldn't be able to differentiate our levels of oxidative stress when we're activating our NRF2 pathway. And that has an effect on disease. That has an effect on our state of well-being, because oxidative stress supports all these disease processes, whether the disease is in your heart, your skin, your kidneys, joints, all of your organs, your immune system. And one thing, when you activate your NRF2 pathway, it also balances over 500 survival genes that really, really get out of whack. So it's not just turning on this antioxidant production, which that's essentially what it is. When you turn on that NRF2 pathway with our NRF2 activators, and there's other, like I said, broccoli's an NRF2 activator. It doesn't turn it on this powerfully. There's some pharmaceutical NRF2 activators, which are not even half as potent as ours, but they also are very, very toxic. One's even been banned. But because ours are made up of herbs and your body was created to absorb plants, we see your body able to actually take this in without side effects and be able to powerfully activate that NRF2. So it's a very special gene. So it does a lot more than turn on the manufacturing. It basically starts your body saying, I'm going to manufacture these super antioxidants in ways that are affecting every single of your 37 to 50 trillion cells per second, eliminating millions of free radicals every single second your NRF2 pathway is activated, which feels like something, which looks like something. PubMed.gov is our tax payer funded medical reference library that everyone has access to, that medical professionals use as a reference, usually for pharmaceuticals or for surgical processes. And it's for any journal published study that's been peer reviewed, which means you have a hypothesis, or you have a proven statement, or a proven medical something foundational within your lab, like we did, and then you send the study out to other professionals that have no skin in the game, to study what your conclusion is, and they can negate it, they can question you, and then it's not actually published if it's not proven. And there's, at the time of this slide, there were 318,000. Last time I looked, it was over 350,000 studies that link oxidative stress to all kinds of different diseases. And people are starting to realize that, okay, oxidative stress is the culprit. It's just that in mainstream medicine, there's a feeling of there's nothing we can do about it. We have oxidative stress because we're alive. It's oxygen's effect on the body, kind of like when you see oxygen's effect on an apple, when you cut it open and you leave it on the counter, or oxygen's effect on bread, same thing. It ages fast, doesn't it, when the oxygen hits it? And that's what happens to our body. But things like bad diet and poor sleep and all of the different chemicals that have been introduced since the Industrial Revolution, air pollution, too much exercise, not enough exercise, all of these things contribute to oxidative stress. And like I said, it supports disease, but sometimes it's just how people have succumbed to feeling. There's people who really just feel like getting older means chronic fatigue, having brain fog, getting sick all the time. And I will even say, not even just getting older. I found this because my 10-year-old was in a health crisis. He was 10 years old, and we tried everything to help him, and nothing helped him. And 10 months, my 10-year-old, who was is an identical twin. Now he's 19, but he missed 5th grade for 10 months. And like I said, we tried anything holistic, we tried everything natural, and we tried pharmaceutical and diagnostics and specialists, and nothing gave us an answer. And there was a day that one of my dearest friends, who owns an adult foster care home here in my area in Southwest Michigan, approached me, and she told me that she knew of something that would help Gabe. And I really didn't want to listen to it because I had tried everything. Nothing helped him. And I was very skeptical and very weary. So if you are, I welcome the skeptics, because that's where I was at. I didn't have time to listen to it. And I really didn't have the patience or even the hope to think there was something. And she told me that the overseeing physician at her adult foster care home recommended that she put every single resident on this product. And so she researched it for about 6 months, because I know her, I knew her very, very well. And I still do, we work together. And I knew her to be so diligent that when she said she researched this 6 months, she read every single one of these studies that were done on Protandim NRF2, which I'll share with you in a moment. We have 31 of them. And she decided to give every resident our Protandim NRF2. And the things that she started seeing people coming out of dementia. She started seeing people go off hospice. She started seeing people going off meds, and everyone was becoming easier to care for. And so she actually started paying for every resident to be on the product at her cost, because from a business standpoint, it cost her less to care for people and to staff her nursing home, because everyone was more well. And people are living longer, and it was just absolutely incredible. So that got my attention, and I listened, and we implemented it, and our results were very radical. I got my son back. He was able to go to the last 3 days of 5th grade. And I have a large family. I have 5 sons, and my husband, myself, lots of dogs, and my mom. We were all in this house, and we had a lot of medical trauma. And I could be here all day telling you all the stories of all the different conditions and things that activation made a difference with in my family. I'm so very grateful. And that's why I became a sharer and wanted to partner with the business, because I was a little upset that I hadn't heard about it before. And it breaks my heart that a lot of people have to suffer without knowing there's at least an option that they should know about. So my heart is, whatever you do with this information is up to you, but everyone needs to at least know. So our Protandim NRF2 is a combination of turmeric, green tea extract, ashwagandha, bacopa, and milk thistle. And they are synergized and combined in such a way. We have 7 domestic patents and 6 international patents. We're to 13 patents now on this. So the synergy is very unique. You can't just take all these things separately in different amounts and activate your NRF2 pathway to the degree that ours does. There's a reason there's that many patents on the way it's combined, how it's combined, and the amounts of each of these things. So it is common when people will say, oh, I take all those things. And that's great. What's in it is very good and very clean and so good for you. But what makes Protandim NRF2 so special is not what's in it, it's what it does. This synergy has become a new compound, kind of like if you make a cookie. So if you made a cookie, a chocolate chip cookie, it's a new compound. It's not the same as having, well, I had eggs today and I had flour and I had sugar, so I don't need the cookie. The cookie is a whole different compound. And so the synergy of what we create is a new compound that has the properties of all of those things times 16. You're literally getting 1,600% more efficacy than any of those alone. But this compound activates this pathway so profoundly that we get to see people's oxidative stress lowered in a way that it can't be in any other way. So currently we have 31 published studies from organizations that 28 of them have no skin in the game. 3 of our published studies were done by our company. 28 of them are organizations like Harvard and American Heart Association. In the history of the American Heart Association, they have never studied a natural proprietary blend product until our product. We are the only one they've ever studied. They teamed up with Ohio State University, and the results are profound on NRF2 activation, on heart health. Washington State University has studied NRF2 and said in their conclusion, it may well become the most preventative and therapeutic breakthrough in the history of medicine. When I first heard that, I thought that was melodrama. And I just thought, come on, that's a bunch of hype. And it really kind of even turned me off, because I thought, I don't believe that. There's been so many medical advancements. But I've been in this 8 years now. And I have a dear friend who's gone off 17 meds and has no lupus diagnosis anymore. I have another client who had 25% heart function with congestive heart failure at 80 years old, and within 6 months doubled her heart function. And these are the things I get to see. I have a colleague whose brother is a 70-year-old autistic man who was nonverbal for 70 years and is now verbal. So I do agree with Washington State University's findings that this may well become the most preventative and therapeutic breakthrough in the history of medicine. And it is preventative and it is therapeutic. If there's nothing wrong with you, should you take it? Absolutely, because I don't need a list of all the things I'm never going to get, right? And therapeutically, if you have a condition that we're not going to say we heal, but if you have a condition, no matter what it is, and oxidative stress is supporting it, why not knock out one of those legs at the table? I mean, what a beautiful power tool to have in your tool belt. Louisiana State University did a study on its effects on melanoma. And internally, they were experiencing so many results that they started grinding up the tablet and making a paste and putting it topically on the melanoma. And then at the conclusion of the study, where they found it lowered melanoma 57%, they came to our company and asked us if we would make an NRF2 topical. And what's wild is we created an NRF2 topical, which is like a skincare line, but it lowers oxidative stress, not just topically, but deep into the deeper layers of the cells. So yes, that has a wonderful cosmetic effect for people who like to spend money on skincare, but it's so wonderfully healing and anti-aging that we see it really affecting so many things. I could talk all day on the studies. We even have a 30-second study right now that is being done by Duke University, and they're studying Protandim Nrf2's effects on ALS. So I started out with that big flagship product, that Protandim Nrf2 activator, but we didn't stop there. We continued the science of nutrigenomics, and we have other activators that are legs of the table, that what we do is we target what is foundational to all disease processes. So we have an activator that activates a pathway called the NRF1 pathway. And again, we synergize 5 herbs that so powerfully turn on that NRF1 pathway that it turns on your body's ability to build and strengthen mitochondria. And why mitochondria is a big deal is your mitochondria, and really a lot of disease, just like oxidative stress, is one of the legs of the table, so is mitochondrial dysfunction. And you're starting to hear the medical world talk about that more. And some people are saying, oh, I have mitochondrial dysfunction. They're actually using that within a diagnosis. But if you have a disease process and you're aging, your mitochondria is dysfunctioning, because every single organ depends on mitochondria for the energy to function. Right now, my heart is functioning without me thinking about it because my mitochondria. And even the antioxidants that you're producing and increasing with NRF2 activation, they're supported and sustained by your mitochondria. And so we not only see them, NRF2 and NRF1, when they're activated supporting each other, we actually see them make each other stronger. So when you take NRF2 with NRF1, the results of both are higher than if they were taken alone. We have an activator called NAD, and that turns on the body's ability to create the fasting response. Basically, you're again turning on a manufacturing house within your body. You're manufacturing these things called sirtuins. They increase 100% within 24 hours when you start activating NAD. And what that means is your sirtuins are responsible for this process called autophagy. And autophagy is the cleaning out and the deep detoxification of the cells. And all of our activators are detoxifying the cells, but this autophagy process in itself is that. So this one is extremely powerful. And that's what people are trying to get when they're doing the cold plunges and they're fasting. And those are all great things to initiate autophagy, but I can't fast forever. And I can't sit in a cold tub all day. I can do it a little bit here and there, but you can activate your NAD so it never stops working and your sirtuin production is always up. That if I go back a minute to that NRF2 activation, not only did we utilize NRF2 activation in your skin, scalp, and hair, but we have NRF2 activation in a drink called Axio that targets your brain health in the same way that our topical targets skin health. And it's basically lowering that stress oxidation in your brain, your neurological and nervous system. And so we see wonderful things with that. Also, because NRF2 activation works in every mammal, people started giving their NRF2 activators to their dogs, their cats, their horses, their cows. All my dogs are activated. And we had a veterinary formulator formulate NRF2 activation in a pet-friendly tablet so that smaller dogs and cats can take. It's called Pet Tandem, and that's incredible. We also have an activator called fat burn. It activates the body's ability to burn the visceral fat. The fat, that's the dangerous fat. It's the fat that surrounds the organ. It's the fat that gets in the blood. It's the fat that causes heart disease and fatty liver disease. And so while it sounds like a cosmetic product, it's very much a health product, getting to the heart of those legs that support disease. We have some supplements as well, because we have seen that there are necessary supplements within the world that we need to support our body, but we only recreate a supplement if we see that there aren't options that are efficacious out in the world. Like gut health options. A lot of people spend a ton of money on probiotics, but don't realize that even high-end probiotics don't have a survival rate of getting that good microbiome to the gut in a way that really makes a difference in their gut health. We were able to change that. So We have a radical gut health program with our ProBio, our prebiotic, and we even have a postbiotic, which is also an immune health drink and a anti-parasitic. It's called Daily Wellness. We also have a multi-nutrient delivery system, which is a better way for people to get their essential vitamins and minerals, whereas a multivitamin is not a good way to get it. And I won't get into the science of that, but I will always take questions if you have them. But one of our most recent activators that we released is one of our most powerful activators. And again, it's not a cosmetic product, even though it's kind of like, you know, our fat burn, it can be. And inadvertently, our outsides look better when our insides are healthier. But a lot of people don't realize that collagen is the most prominent protein in every single cell of your body. Your eyes are 90% collagen, your heart depends on collagen, your liver depends on collagen, your sleep quality depends on collagen, your joints, every single organ, tissue, muscle, because they're all made up of cells that are dependent on collagen. And a lot of people are supplementing really poorly collagen, just a couple types of collagen, where your body relies on 28 different kinds of collagen. And we have found through natural nutritional components, we have found the genes responsible for collagen production and collagen protection. So of course, we activate them. We activate the genes to produce collagen. We activate the genes to protect collagen. And we also supplement 10 different kinds of very, very clean marine hydrolyzed collagen. What's special is that ingredient, ruby red quinoa extract, that's the ingredient that activates the collagen production. But when it's activating those 3 genes that are responsible for collagen production, which essentially increase your collagen density 100% within 8 weeks, it's very, very powerful. But in doing that, it also activates the body's production of those super antioxidants, kind of like with our NRF2 activator. It increases this super antioxidant called SOD, which is responsible for so many aspects of every cell's health. There's a lot of studies linking SOD to all those disease processes and its ability to lower it. And we increase SOD production by 2,700% just by activating your collagen production. And also this wonderful super antioxidant called catalase, we increase that production by 202%. Not only that, your collagen production is increased by 42%, which again, you'll see in this cell study, it increases that collagen density by 100% in 8 weeks. So you'll see on the left, there's a lot of black, that's collagen lack. And then by 4 weeks, you'll see more of the yellow, which is collagen presence. And then by 8 weeks, much less black, and it's very, very yellow. And so this particular study stopped at 8 weeks. So I'm 2 years in now to my collagen production. So I'm really curious if if that's continuing to double, but just the ability to increase that by 100% is such a gift. Then we do supplement 10 different kinds of collagen, not just 1 or 2, like most supplements. And we do it the right way, so it's bioavailable and your body's able to absorb it. And then our citrus berry extract is a blend of berries, natural, pure fruits in its most cleaner than organic level. But the way we do that activates a gene that is responsible for the excessive loss. And I should say in that activation, it regulates. You have a gene that's responsible for excessive loss of collagen as we're aging. And what it does is it down regulates that and it brings it back to normal. And so many of our activators aren't just producing something, we're regulating. We're regulating genes, survival genes that get really out of whack as we age or as we're sick. And what's not in all of our products, but what's not in our collagen is there's nothing bad added. No sugars, no sweeteners, it's dairy-free, it's soy-free, there's no shellfish. There's nothing to be afraid of here unless you're allergic to strawberries. And the reason it's a liquid and not a powder is collagen molecules are too big to be absorbed in a powder. They have to be liquid and hydrolyzed, meaning the molecules need to be broken down. And so if you were, for instance, and I hope you're not, but if you were buying Costco collagen, which the reason I say I hope you're not is because it's been recalled several times. It's made with so many things that are bad for you. But let's just say it just had the collagen with nothing bad for you in it. you're only absorbing 10, maybe 30% if it was made really well. You'd have to buy 3 to 9 more of those just to get what you think you're getting. And even then, it's just a couple kinds of collagen and there is no activation. I think I've already gone over that. I'm going to show you just some pictures of what it looks like on the outside when people add collagen into their activated regimen. Now, these are colleagues of mine. These are all people that I know, and they've all been activated for years. They've been taking NRF2, NRF1, NAD, and then and most of them honestly are doing the gut health and drinking our Axio and incorporating everything. And so full disclosure, they were doing very well before. And then when we released the activated collagen, this is the difference that activating the collagen and all of the effects and the gene regulation has on the outside. And why I love to show these is because these are why we're seeing radical things with people's hearts, with people's brains, with people's livers, with people's joints, because everything you see on the outside is what's happening to your organs. Your skin is an organ. And so we see a dramatic change in what's the word I'm looking for? The elasticity in people's skins. This is Carrie on the left. She's a good friend of mine. And look at the difference in her eyes. Remember, your eyes are 90% collagen. We see people's eye color come back. My skin tone totally changed for the better. And I know some of these pictures even look doctored. And that's why I always want to tell you, I know these people. And so I would only do this. But these are the wonderful things we see. Betty's internal results are more dramatic than her external results. But who doesn't love to look better as well? And honestly, when you feel better on the inside and when things are working right, it shows on the outside. This is Seth on the left. And like most people, he didn't think it was doing anything on the outside. And a lot of times we don't realize because we see ourselves every day. But that picture was only 15 days. And you can see how just even 15 days limited his crow's feet. And from necks to all different skin tones, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. You can just see the enormous difference. This is Dr. Nancy on the right, and she lost 50 pounds at 70 years old, and these were her legs. And within 90 days of adding the collagen to her otherwise already very activated world, you can see such a difference. And I give this disclosure here, but I have clients that just get started and have some pretty radical results. And they might not be on all the activators that all these people are on. We see a difference in hair. And what makes this so special is sometimes there's been many things I've seen in my own body that have kind of reversed. Certain things have gone away. Like for instance, I started this in my early 40s and I was just starting to have hot flashes. They just stopped. I'm 51 now. I haven't had a hot flash since. And so I can look back and say, wow, like I think I was prematurely. If all of these things are helping me turn back the clock, then clearly everything I was exposed to before was putting my body into some premature aging and transition that was really unnecessary. And illness. You know, I had struggled my whole life with IBS, and I just thought that's the way I would feel and the way I would live. And that disappeared after 4 months. And the more activators we've added, because when I first started, there was just a couple. And then we've introduced more, like we've talked about. And as I've added more activators, I notice higher degrees of healing in my body. And again, they all synergize with each other to make each other stronger. And that kind of leads me to these two. These two are really, really special. There's a synergy within these two, Protandim NRF2, the first one I talked about, and our activated collagen, the last one. Not only are they doing things individually that are so powerful and special, but when you take them together, we've actually had to patent the combination effect of the two, because we had to study. We started a study after people started taking them and seeing those radical things like the heart function coming back and the autistic 70-year-old speaking for the first time. And so we did an in vitro study, which means a cell study. We looked at the cells to say what's happening when these two are together. And we found something so special. There's a response so powerful that isn't present in the other two, even though their response individually is so strong. when they're taken together, they lower your cellular stress. This isn't your oxidative stress. This is why your doctor says you need to lower your stress. Stress is bad for you because your body holds it, and your cells get in a fight or flight mode. And when a trauma or a stressful situation ends, your body holds that stress. And this synergy lowers it by 992%. This synergy regulates over 2,000 survival genes that are responsible for things like your immune system. We see the immune system coming right back to its original form. If that was the only thing that did, that brings tears to my eyes. We regulate, like some genes are over expressed, some genes are under expressed. So when I say regulate, we're bringing them back into balance, kind of like tuning a piano. Genes that are responsible for diabetic processes, genes that are responsible for cancer tumor metastazations, genes that are responsible for autoimmune processes. And that's, I just listed 3 or 4, over 2,000. They're the big ones. And so we get to see not only radical healing and balance in the body with these synergized together, but we also see a regeneration, because each of these things is manufacturing things that are building within your body. So regenerative things like heart function, where a cardiologist says to this 80-year-old patient, this isn't supposed to happen. You don't gain heart function when you've had congestive heart failure at 80 years old. Well, we have something that we can defy that on. And that's what I found, is just being able to give people the option to know that there is something that could defy odds that they hadn't known about before, and to do it naturally. And ultimately, this is nutrition. So sometimes people will say, well, I wonder if I can have that. I'm like, technically, it's just all nutrition. It's just the most super, super, super food you could ever get your hands on. And so when you think of all the nutrition you put in your body, there's nothing this good. There's nothing this clean, and there's nothing this powerful. So I'll kind of stop there. I know that I talk a long time and there's so much information. I feel that I do it an injustice if I don't offer the depth to what it is, because again, more special than what it is because what it is great. We use great ingredients, but more special than what it is what it does. Nothing else activates your genome to increase your heal and repair power like this. So does anyone have any questions? Or even Barb, if you have something you wish I would have said, anyone can interject and we can discuss.
No, I appreciated everything you shared, Angie. Um, Definitely, I know for me, I was really at a loss when this came into my life. I was on anxiety and depression medication, and I was taking things for my kidneys, and I had like a handful of supplements because we always did naturopaths as well. So, yeah, I just couldn't figure out, like my body wasn't absorbing what I was taking, so I just wasn't getting better. So in my 40s, I felt like I'm already getting old, you know. And so having the ability to turn back the clock like this and have my body do what God designed it to do, which is heal, it's just been, yeah, the hope you have for life, like having energy I had like when I was in my early 20s, and probably actually better energy. Uh, I feel better. I actually sleep good. I don't have restless leg. I was able to avoid having a knee surgery. So yeah, just
I didn't know
how
that.
our bodies are, yeah, how our bodies are designed to heal is just incredible, the way that we're created. And so that's been such a game changer for me, and people I'm working with now that have had strokes, and like the heart function thing, working with a guy in Ohio that had like he's able to travel with his wife again. They're doing things again, and they're in their 60s when they thought that the progression of where he was at with his heart was not going to look very good for them. And the fact that they may have more years, but actually have really good years together. Just investing in our health in that way, and being able to see other people have such profound results is just been just within my family and friends is just I love seeing that that we are created to heal, that we don't, yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions? And I can stop the recording too, so that your questions aren't, if you have any. Or maybe it did stop. I guess I'm not even seeing where. Or no, there we go. Sorry. I guess it's because I didn't have my glasses on.